This is day 47 of the HurricaneOtis, Guerrero Mexico, emergency feeding mission. The good news is with last weekend's report, we had only received enough donations to provide just 50 families with life-saving food and hygiene supplies. This was far short of the extremely dire need within the first group of 5 communities our emergency feeding mission team is focusing to save from increasing starvation and disease in the wake of Hurricane Otis. During this past weekend, to our excitement, donors answered our call, and due to their timely generosity, I am happy to report that during the past 2 days our dedicated emergency feeding mission team has delivered an additional 240 pantries of life-saving food and hygiene supplies to the first of 5 communities our emergency feeding team is focusing on at this time. This delivery is on top of the 100 pantries the team previously provided just days earlier to hurricane victims in the same community on the outskirts of Acapulco. Although this is a small victory against starvation and disease, there are still 160 more families in this community as well as the hundreds more in the remaining 4 communities who are desperately waiting for their turn to receive these life-saving supplies, which include such essential items as tuna, milk, rice, pasta, salad, cereal, oil, soap and more. Saving every community within our reach is our first mission, but I also need to inform you that beyond the crisis that exists in Guerrero today, there is an even greater crisis looming that potentially could develop into an even more widespread and deadlier catastrophe. Now everyone, brace for impact. As I recently reported, the storm after the storm can be the most deadly and destructive if catastrophe mitigation is not effectively enacted swiftly. The bad news is the Acapulco economy was based on its tourism industry. 600 hotels and vacation condos are now gone, and the jobs they provided are gone with their destruction, and tragically it is likely most of these jobs will be gone forever. As it doesn't appear reconstruction will occur soon either. And to make matters worse, all crops have been destroyed, creating long-term food shortages, hunger and starvation. And it is disheartening to also report what little food there is available. We have numerous reports that supplies sent in by other aid groups have been seized along with food vouchers provided to the victims. And then to make matters even worse, is the increase of infectious disease from mountains of storm debris. And with increasing infectious diseases, the death toll will also continue to rise due to apathy, distraction, politics and self-interests. The only outcome on the horizon is the state of Guerrero could become a deadly mass graveyard within just a few weeks unless there is swift, effective mitigation. In which case, if there is not, then even worse, Guerrero would become ground zero for a deadly outbreak of disease and pestilence of apocalyptic proportions that could easily spread far beyond Guerrero's and Mexico's borders. This scenario is a potential horror straight out of the Book of Revelations, and friends, this is not a horror sci-fi movie. This is a recipe for an epic disaster in the making that could affect us all, and frighteningly, the reality is this disaster is developing now. So where do 800,000 people possibly go from here? Most of our donors assume there are other well-known disaster relief teams working to bring aid, but truthfully our feeding team have not seen any other catastrophe relief teams in the area. The deadly silence of the international media along with political and public apathy will be to blame for the deaths that will no doubt soon to rise in the coming weeks and the eventual spread of disease and death beyond Guerrero's borders. So, we at Wing CRS are sounding the alarm and asking you to take action now to save these lives and even possibly our own lives before it is too late. We are asking the Mexican government and other government leaders to take swift and decisive action now to save humanity. And just $68 will purchase 1 pantry of food and hygiene supplies for an average family of 4 in Guerrero. And $680 will provide for 10 families and help us toward our goal of saving over 100,000 families in Guerrero who are in dire need of food and hygiene supplies today. All things are possible if we together will believe and act now to save lives. We ask you now, what is one life worth? And whatever amount you can give, 100% goes to the hurricane victims in Guerrero. And it is also important to bring to your attention that one of the most powerful acts we all can do is to repost this video to sound this alarm to the entire world. Please act now to send your gift of life today to wingcrs.org/donate. Help us save these fragile lives today and may God bless you from Wing CRS.